Hi, this is Lola Turner, the co-host of the Business Talk Library. And today we have an exciting guest on the show. I'm really excited to talk to this entrepreneur. This is someone who has over 29, almost 30 years of experience. And I'm always interested to hear from tenured entrepreneurs because I think it comes with a lot of experience, a lot of ups and downs, challenges. But more importantly, I think just the lessons and the knowledge and the wisdom that's shared. So I'm excited to welcome Karin Hall to the show. Thank you so much, Karin, for being with us today.
You are welcome, Lola, and thank you so much for the invite. I would love to share my experience, and maybe I can shed some light for a few folks that are out there. It's aging me a little bit at 29 years, but I have to say it's been quite a run, and it's continues to be exciting.
Yeah, definitely excited to hear more about you. So, Karin, do you mind telling us just a little bit about your background, how you got to where you are today, and to co-founding your company?
You got it. Well, I have to say that I'm an entrepreneur that started as a teacher some many years ago.
Okay.
And while I was trying to raise kids with my partner, we kind of fell upon from teaching to doing some telemarketing, and then people recruited us and said, "You're so good on the phone. Why don't you just do this out of your home?" So we raised our kids and we created a virtual call center with probably 7 people at the time, and then started our business that way. We were on the cover of Money magazine in
Nice.
1997.
Wow.
For one of the best in-home businesses in America, making 100K plus. And so we covered for each other while we're raising kids and doing all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we hit that benchmark, and we started, we entered this thing that they, we had to prove our income and all this other stuff. We started dreaming a little bit more of where else can we take this business?
Mm.
So at that point, we started looking into getting an office because people weren't going to take us seriously in the call center business. So we are a call center services group that started as an outbound telesales organization. And then we moved into the office then 7 years later, and then set up some technology, cost about $1 million, and financed all that type of thing, and brought another partner in as well for the technology piece in finance. And then we basically started getting accounts. We went back and got that account from the telemarketing company that we used to work with, and they started outsourcing through us.
Wow.
So from there, we just started building, from how our knowledge was, and, setting up the technology, getting into having a faster paced environment with being able to automatically dial, set up programs, talk to people about appointment setting, lead generation, and then it evolved into helping customer service. So we became a BPO services group over a 17-year period in a very small office at 50 seats at the time. Mm. And then from there, we evolved, like I said, into being able to outsource answering services, BPO email response, also then inbound customer service, and taking the full operation of customer service to us, or we could be a tertiary center to also take the overflow calls. So all that involves a lot of technology and learning through the years and educating ourselves through all that process. And then from there, lucky for us, we started thinking a local competitor of ours had come to us and said, why don't we merge companies? And we're like, we've got enough partners. So we acquired them, and then we grew to 125 seat center.
Wow.
So been there for about 8-9 years, 125 seats in another location added in Iowa. So we've got a center in Deer Park, Illinois, and also a center in Iowa. And then most recently, lucky again for us, we have an owner who wants to retire, comes to us with similar cultures. And in January, just before the pandemic hit, we were blessed enough to then acquire his company. So collectively now, moving in 29 years, we do have 400 call center seats.
Wow.
The third location now just opened in Minnesota. So it's been a ride. There's been a lot of ups and downs. So I'm going to let you ask more questions here, but that's the long and short of our history right now.
That sounds like a lot packed in 29 years. A lot. And it's just amazing because I think you hit on a lot of points that I want to talk about. One is the pivoting to customer service. I saw a post that you recently posted and where you talked about, the quality of customer service versus the quantity. I think that, we live in a society today where everything is very automated, and oftentimes it's kind of this cut the corners, and people are measured more so on the output versus the quality of the service that's delivered. So how have you seen kind of that dynamic in your company, what you have, educated your team on in terms of making sure that, hey, how do you put the quality over the quantity of whether it's calls we're making or, potential clients we're talking to? What's kind of been the mantra for you guys?
Well, our agents usually come to us with 4 to 6 years as the average of retail experience or sales and marketing experience of some sort. So we want to recruit properly. And then we build on their knowledge, and then we put them through a module that we've created through the years of how we're going to hire a customer service agent. We always train them in the outbound first. We always feel that an agent needs to understand negotiation and also being firm or strong, but not like someone that is easily turned. You have to be able to be friendly. You have to be experienced. You have to be able to learn how to listen. And some of those things come by, doing cold calls and other things, because there's a lot of different skills that you need for that. So as we move into customer service and offering that experience, we really have to listen to our clients as to what they want. Some people are trying to reduce costs and want to get people on and off the line. But when they come to us, we have to design an experience through a module and also through screens and other things. Our team has tools so that they can get to the answers quicker, so that they can resolve this on the first call, and also do it in a friendly, compassionate, loving way, get them the answers that they need, and leave them with a really great feeling. So quality customers and service and sales, which is QCSS, that's what it stands for my company. We have, our goals are nurturing relationships. From the highest level, our mission is nurturing relationships. So when they come in, they're onboarded, and then we talk to our clients. We have to also talk about expectations, because some of them, hey, reduce the calls, reduce the minutes. We have to find an even balance of doing that. So we're measuring and monitoring in quality assurance, where our calls are listened to from the quality assurance team to see how we are balancing that on our calls. Are we giving great service, but at the same time not trying to push them off the phone quickly, so that we're trying to make those times, but trying to balance. And our clients have to have that expectation that what is your sole goal? Is it to have that great experience so that they're calling back to place an order again? Are we resolving that on the first call? So it's a lot of things.
Right. And speaking of customer, just setting expectations when you have a new client that comes on, what type of clients do you typically see that come to your business in terms of just industry? Is it a specific industry that you tend to have more clients in, or is it a wide array?
It is a wide array. It is a wide array. It can be, an e-commerce company looking for, customer satisfaction or checking on orders and tracking orders. It could be a training company that has online software that needs password resets and other, first line and level help that they can give somebody on the phone to navigate around the computer to make sure they can get back on track and back into their trainings. It could be taking orders. It could be someone calling into place, do an appointment. So it could be a B2C. I'm just trying to think and throwing some things out to you. But think of this: manufacturers, distributors, e-commerce. That's on the inbound, and then also pharmaceutical, medical recalls. We take intake for that, and then on the outbound, it can be insurance, manufacturers, technology software, setting demo appointments, just an array of everything. Anybody who has a sales and marketing team, and they need an SDR ahead of them to make appointments and do lead generation, or if it warrants doing we work with associations as well, where we're doing membership renewals or building for events and things like that. The things that might be project oriented that they don't have enough staff to call thousands of folks and get them renewed and get their ROI. And on the inbound, same thing. The challenges that people have is that I don't have enough staff. I need to have a designed better experience. We're not adept at being able to hire the right people, nurture those people, and have someone manage. We're just not into the business of having a call center.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to do it better. So as part of what we do is we consult, we make adjustments, we calibrate the programs. We are a team, and we are an arm of a company, whether it be for leading sales development, or if it's going to be the tertiary side of a customer service team.
Got it. And I know, speaking of sales, that's something that we've had quite a few entrepreneurs in the show. And that's usually kind of the hurdle at the beginning stages for entrepreneurs is, how do I talk to people about my product? How do I sell? How do I market what it is that I have to offer? And it's great to know that there is a service where you can outsource that function if you're not really, the best salesperson. But what would your advice be to someone who's maybe just kind of starting out their business? They're not quite at the point of scaling where they need, an, I guess, outsource function or customer center. What would be your advice just from a sales standpoint, or any tips that you can share with someone who's looking to improve their selling?
Well, I think the biggest part is, as you're developing or an entrepreneur or even a startup, and we work with startups and things like that as well, and we give a lot of advice as we're implementing the program.
Mm-hmm.
But my advice first would be let's identify your target market and what is the universe of opportunity out there. So do we have a marketplace that we can get to, or is it going to be phone sales? Or obviously in quarantine, it's going to be phone sales. So you have the whole universe to go after, right? But if you're an entrepreneur, I would say at one point you need to look at your local level, because if you can get to your clients, you've got the whole world in front of you, right?
Right.
But you want to focus in somewhere you can get. Because if it's consulting service or something else, people like that local, and they usually close faster in a locality versus all over the world. So let's find out a place, let's get that universe, let's get to a list broker, and let's find out what that is. Let's find out what size of companies you're going to be selling to, what are the challenges they have, and let's mark that, write out all of our objections and have all those pieces and parts ready to go, when you're making your sales call. But you do have to have an element when you're a professional of knowing that you're interrupting people in their day if you're doing actual phone calls. So you need to be able to set an appointment. So that's the biggest problem is entrepreneurs they call, they show up, they throw up, and they're trying to sell somebody on the first call. Mm-hmm. They need to acquire that appointment just like a sale, and get that time with that professional to be able to talk one-on-one with them without any disruptions. So plan to get a script ready and be able to pique interest on that first call, a 30-second pitch to be able to do that. So that's what I'd plan first. I'd have a CRM in place so you can track, what's working. Not only would I be doing phone calls, I would be making sure you're on LinkedIn like we are, that your website can be, as a little SEO in there, that you might do a little email marketing with the list that you get from a broker, which is not that expensive, by the way. And I work through all those processes with with the companies that we work with. So that's what I would say. And then practice.
Yeah, definitely. That's really great, because I think also the point that you mentioned about just respecting people's time, right? Is just people have a limited amount of time, and realizing, I think you made a very good point there. You're interrupting people in their day when you call them, if you don't set an appointment, and just the question of, what are you offering me that is so valuable for me to stop doing what I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And being able to make that pitch and say, hey, this is the value that I add, and I'm going to make this pitch, and then you can move on with the rest of your day. So being considered, I think that's a really, really, really good point. What are some of the, when you think about your experience just with being tenured and all the wisdom that you have to bring and offer, what is one piece of advice, or maybe two, or as many as you want to share, that you would give to someone who's just starting out? I mean, you've already shared such great wisdom on just the selling aspect, but if I'm a new entrepreneur, I'm just getting started, or maybe I'm 3 to 5 years in, what would be your advice that you would give to someone that's just getting started, or a little bit further on in their journey?
Well, one, I think everybody has to have a business plan. You gotta have a plan in place as to, what are you looking at today? What are the hurdles you're gonna have to cross? What are the resources you're gonna need to bring to the table to after the sale what is the operational side? What does that look like? What are you delivering? And what is your point of difference in your sales process, so that you can pique that interest. I mean, sales is always, nothing comes before the sale, but then you have to have the delivery piece. So you want to have those in place, and then you want to have a goal and plan, so that obviously you can support yourself,
Right.
you can support resources and everything else like that. And then set your first year goal. What are your sales? And really drill it down. How many, what is my sales closing ratio? I don't know what that is. Let me forecast what that could be.
Mm-hmm.
And how many sales do I have to close at this particular amount of money to then make sure I can hit my salary and pay for all the others.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're hitting those goals, then you make the second year plan and the third year plan, and start adding on resources, what have you, on there. It just, a business plan has to be so important. Make sure you got everything in writing. If you have partners, super important. Anticipate things that can happen along the way. If you have partners as well, to make sure that you know what your roles are in the
Right.
company, and very specifically defined, so that then there won't be any arguments or situations that occur. Anticipate everything in 29 years. But I've been very blessed, good friends and partnership but certainly there's peaks and valleys, but you really do have to be thinking ahead. Friends are friends, but business comes to business.
Right, exactly. Thank you so much. That's really good, Karin. Really, really good insight. Speaking of your business, where can people find you? I know you mentioned LinkedIn some, but where can people find you if they're interested in doing business with your company?
You got it. Well, first of all, you can certainly hit me up on LinkedIn at Karin Hall, Karin Hall. You can go to our website, which is QCSSinc.com. I also have a link in there to set up an appointment. If you want to chat a little bit and get a little more advice, I'd be happy to do that, just to walk through some different things that we do that we might be able to help you, or even, help with a referral situation as well, to help you along your way.
That's great. That's great. We'll definitely also put that information on the screen so that people can access it if they're interested in doing business with you. I think really, really, really great insight, Karin. Thank you so much for coming on the show, for taking time out of your super busy schedule to share your wisdom with us and everyone that listens to the Business Talk Library. So thank you again.
Thank you, Lola. I really appreciate the great questions, and I hope that it resonates with a few people out there, and look forward to anybody who has more questions, and that I could be of a mentor to somebody. I'm sure I have plenty to learn still.
Thank you so much, Karin.
Thanks for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to click the subscribe button and follow us on all social media platforms as the Business Talk Library.